as you guys can see, I need to get to business. I got some serious business to attend to.
Colby, I am curious, you mentioned the daytime fight. How have you changed your training to prepare for that, though? Like fighting earlier in the day, not peaking at night when you usually would?
Yeah, just making sure I'm not staying extra late up in the bedroom. You know, usually I like to stay up late and really work on my cardio late at night with all my ladies, but I got to make sure I'm really, you know, toning it down and getting to bed at a good time so I can wake up at a good time.
So we talked to Robbie earlier about some of the controversy, some of the comments you've made, if any of them got to him. He says, no, it's like water's off a duck's back. I mean, does that change anything for you at all?
No, that doesn't change anything for me. You know, Robbie is who he is. You know, he puts on a front for the media. That's not who he really is, and he's just showing up because he has to show up, and he doesn't want to get fined. So he's not showing up like me, really putting on a show, entertaining these fans.
How much of this is you? I mean, how much of this is calculated? You know, you're thinking, hey, maybe I'll see someone in the crowd and bring him up. Maybe I'll have a little, you know, play, a little fun. How much of it's you? How much of it is calculated?
Yeah, I mean, I got lucky today. These beautiful women arrived, you know. They stole the show, man. These people didn't come see me. They came to see beautiful women. We all know sex sells.
Total coincidence.
Total coincidence, man. Lucky me, man. Who would have thought, man?
Real's a big fan of Colby?
Hell yeah.
How's he going to win this fight on Saturday?
Kick some ass, like always.
Like always. That's all we do is win, baby. That's why they call us the Great American Winning Machine. All right, boys, it's been fun, but I got to get out of here. I really got to go work on my cardio. Last cardio session before we beat Robbie Lawler and send him into retirement on Saturday night. Live on ESPN. Don't miss it, Snow.
Robbie, you mentioned that you didn't do the workout today because you just worked out. Do you have to change your schedule because you're fighting during the daytime as opposed to, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night?
The schedule's a little different. I didn't have to do too many late workouts anyways. Usually I do. My last workout starts around 2, so it'll be perfect. My body feels good. It's adapted to this time. A fight's a fight. It doesn't matter if it's at 12 a.m. or 3 p.m. I'll come and fight.
When was the last time you fought, like midday? Can you remember?
No, it's been a while for sure.
You know, Colby's been relatively respectful to start, then he started getting a little more chirpy. Does any of it even get to you?
No, I don't really pay much attention to what everyone's saying. Have a hard enough time just focusing on myself, getting myself ready. It's a tough task to go in every day, work hard, grind away, be a father, be a husband. Those are the things I try to focus on, how I can grow and get better. So it doesn't really matter what anyone else is saying.
Do you buy into any, I don't know if you want to call it a gimmick or a character or persona, but do you buy into any of what he does?
I don't pay attention to much of what anybody does, so other than myself. So people can do whatever they want, and more power to whoever, however they want to act. It's up to them. But I'm just going to be me and worry about myself, stay in my own lane, and work.
You've trained with him before. What's your recollection of like your first meeting with him?
I mean, he's a good wrestler, a guy who's willing to grind, a guy who's put in a lot of hard work, and he's learned a lot, and he's a good fighter.
Do you enjoy fighting a former teammate, or how do you feel about that, fighting somebody you used to train with?
It's a fight. I'm a professional. I've been doing this my whole life, fought a lot of guys, and it's just another day, show up and compete and do what I've done my whole life, which is train and fight. It's who I am.
So most of the talk about him is usually surrounded about what he says, but as a fighter from a skill set standpoint, where is he most dangerous? What challenges do you think he presents to you?
He likes to push a good pace, comes with a lot of different strikes, kicks, just stays really busy and grinds away. He's a good wrestler too.
He talked about your departure from the team. Anything you wanna clarify about that? Or
no, because I'm cool with the road I've taken, and I have no animosity to anybody at that gym. I'm just moving forward, growing, and getting better. And it is what it is. I'm not at that gym anymore. I'm at Hard Knocks doing my thing and growing and worried about myself.
Why did you ultimately decide to go to
Because I felt like going like a grown-up.
Robbie, you mentioned so much about, learning and growing, and it's just, it seems like you have so much focus on training and just always wanting to get better. Is the day that, that passion stops, the day that you're done with fighting, the day that, I feel I can't grow anymore, I don't want to grow anymore?
Yeah, for sure. That's what the name of the game. If you're not growing, you're not getting better, then this game's going to pass you up. But as long as I'm willing to grind and compete with these young cats and work hard or harder than these guys, then I'm going to keep going. My mind's good, my body feels great, and it's what I love to do.
I think, redefining, it used to be a 40-year-old fighter was like something unique.
Whoa.
No, I know, you're still a few years away. No, I know, you're still
settle down.
But, can you envision yourself fighting that much longer? You see a lot more guys fighting at that age.
Yeah, I don't know. Just one fight at a time, taking care of my body, doing the right stuff, eating right, taking care of myself is what it comes down to. I enjoy what I do, and I'm going to do it as long as possible.
Hey Robbie, is obviously after Saturdays, have you thought about the Askren rematch at all?
No, I haven't talked about that or thought about that since the fight, and I think it is what it is. Moved on. You can't go back in the past and hold on to those things. You gotta learn and grow and move forward. It's not gonna affect me any, so I just keep moving.
What do you learn from a fight like that? I mean, a lot of people feel it shouldn't have been stopped. Some people do believe. I mean, what can you take away from a fight that maybe shouldn't have ended that way?
Well, it's just putting yourself in those positions where Herb had to make the choice is really what it comes down to. I put myself in that position with, obviously, Ben did some good stuff there, and Herb did what he thought was right at that moment. So it's, how did my body feel? How can I get better from the little bit of fighting that we did? And that's what I did. I focused on all the stuff that I could get better at and just kept grinding away.
What did you make of the Masvidal knockout over him? I mean, for one side, I'm sure you can appreciate a knockout that spectacular and just maybe...
Yeah, I'm very excited for Masvidal. He's been fighting for many years, a stand-up guy. I fought on many cards with him, trained with him. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, it's good to kind of see him get that shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's been grinding for a long time, fought a lot of really good fighters, and he's a true fighter, and no nonsense, just comes to fight every time.
Just like
Out of all the obligations that require a fight, the training, the dieting, the weight cutting, is doing media the least enjoyable for you?
No, it's not bad. I would say the weight cut's not fun anymore, but this is easy because I control this shit.
Yeah. And
so have you thought of going back to 185? You mentioned the cut's not good.
No, the cut's not bad, but it's never fun. So no, this 170 is good for me, and I feel good.
Does the idea of playing spoiler for Covington's title shot play into your game plan?
No, I don't really focus on those things. A fight's a fight. I'm trying to win. You don't get extra motivation by taking something away from somebody. I'm motivated to fight and compete. It doesn't matter where he's going, it matters where I'm going. All those other things are just media talking points and bull. I'm gonna go out there and fight my hardest. That's what I do.
Bring up one more since it's a media talk point. It seems like Donald Trump Jr. will be cage side. That's kind of what he's doing. What do you think of that?
What?
It seems like Donald Trump Jr. is going to be there for the fight.
It doesn't really affect me at all. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's nobody there. I'm coming to fight. It's the thing I've done my whole life. I mean, I remember fighting when no one was there, and nothing's changed. I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm an old school guy who just goes out there and fights. There's people in the stands that might be on TV, might be a little bit more money going on, but it's still a fight. You take everything away, it's two guys going out there and going to battle, and that's what I focus on.
it seems nowadays it's really hard to find a lot of support from the fan base if you're not out there doing media and sort of talking trash, but you have a very strong fan base and fans tune in to watch your fight. What do you think it is that you're kind of the exception to the rule?
I don't really pay much attention to what, I'm just being me. And if people like it, cool. If they don't, cool. I'm just gonna keep moving and being me and not put on an act for anybody and just do the best I can, and show off, I guess, and let people know who I am, and this is who I am. Just a guy who's going out fighting, grinding, and doing it the old school way.
Did you ever pay attention throughout your career to any of the surrounding talk, or, you know, is there a reason why you don't, or to stay in focus, or why is that?
Well, you really can't control those things. You can't control what other people are saying. Everyone likes this hoopla, but all this stuff really doesn't matter. It matters the work you put in, the heartache, the freaking how you ate, how you prepared, your training partners who helped you. Those are the things that matter. It's not what I say about this guy or that guy and what this person's wearing, that person wearing. It doesn't matter. You just freaking work out and you show up and you fight. And that's what I've always done. That's what this sport was built on, I believe, is freaking going out there and showcasing your skills and your martial arts and being a professional.
We talked about maybe playing spoiler for Colby, but what's your take on the title picture as a whole? I mean, you've got Colby, you've got Leon Edwards, you've got Masvidal. Do you think maybe a big performance and you can kind of leapfrog, because it seems like at least 3 or 4 horse race?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, and I can't pay attention to those kinds of things. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what Dana's going to do. Lots of good guys out there, a lot of opportunities for people, and all I can focus on is Saturday. That's it. Simple.
One of the things you're known for is your great takedown defense. Do you feel confident that you could keep the fight on the ground on the?
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I've been working on my skills. I have really good training partners, really good coaches. So we work on all aspects, working on my takedown defense, working on my striking. But you can't just wait on him. You can't just wait for a takedown and counter and do those things and be second. You have to get in his face, force situations, and take advantage of them. There's a lot going on in these fights. Kobe's a really good fighter who puts really good pressure, but my coaches and training partners have done a great job with me.
Robbie, you haven't fought in this building since 2008, I believe, and the UFC show.
11 years ago-ish.
What do you remember about that night?
Just another day. I mean, coming out fighting, nothing really. I mean, it's a fight, you move on. It was a big experience, I'm sure, at that time, and then you just move on to the next one.
Thanks, Robbie.
Yep. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Whew. Thanks, now. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Yeah, man of the people out here. This is your turf.
Yeah, man. This is my hometown, baby.
Yeah. How's it feel to actually be? I'm sure you've dreamed of this for a while. What is it like to actually be going through the motions?
It's great. I saw my first UFC fight at Prudential. You know, I saw GSP fight Dan Hardy when I was a kid. Seen a couple more since then. But yeah, it's, you know, I remember being there, being like, I'm gonna fight here one day, and now has come to fruition. So that's cool.
Dan Hardy was a little tougher to submit that night than your coach.
yeah, it's true. It's true. He's a tough guy. Absolutely.
What sparks motivation? You know, bring the kids up there and everything. Do you teach a lot? You know, at your gym too?
I used to. Actually, I was like the first kids instructor at Miller Brothers MMA, Jim Dan Miller School. Jim will be up here in a sec. I don't teach as much anymore, but it's fun. You know, I want to get the kid excited. You know, it's cool.
Have you and Jim fought on the same card before?
This is our first time. We've been in the back together a lot. Either I'm fighting or he's fighting, but first time sharing the octagon. So it'll be cool.
That must be pretty special for you, especially him. He's making history again, setting a new record for most UFC fights.
100%. Obviously Jersey's got Frankie Edgar, but Jim and Dan Miller, those like big brothers and me, guys I looked up to my whole life. So it's really cool. Getting to go around with him. He's a leader and a great guy.
Talk a little about the last one. Obviously, Sanchez didn't go the way you wanted, but what did you take away from it?
You learn every time you're in there. Sick leading up to it. Couldn't perform. But being just seeing more. Every time I get in that cage, I feel like I see more. I get more comfortable. Anytime it goes bad, you learn a lot from it because you never forget it. You're embarrassed. You're not happy. So I'd say from that, being in there on my worst night, I probably should have been laid up in a hospital bed. But I went in there and fought. it makes me very fearless because I've been it can't go worse than that. You know what I mean? I can't. I'm never gonna. It's not gonna be my worst night. You know, I'm not gonna be sick like that again. You know, so it gives me a lot of confidence, feeling good, feeling healthy, going in there. I feel pretty fearless.
And just talk a little about your opponent, Salim. Obviously not as big name as Diego Sanchez, but still a dangerous guy.
Yeah, Salim's a tough kid, Polish kid. They call him Grizzly, so I bet he's gonna be strong. But you know, I watched him. I think he's tough. Everyone in the UFC is, but I think I'll take him out and finish him. You know, I know what I do. I've been working hard, running hard, training hard, and you know, I'm ready to go.
Do you regret taking the fight with Diego because you were really sick? I mean, you mentioned you had
hindsight's 20/20, you know. But at that time, I never would have pulled out, not in a million years. You know, I signed a contract. I'm going to show up, and although I wasn't feeling great, you know, I probably would have done the same thing again, to be honest. But you know, I wouldn't say I regret it. I learned from it.
And you trained here at home, right?
Yeah, I trained in Jersey. Yeah, Grayson, New Jersey.
When was the last time you trained in Jersey for a fight?
Not my I did the Diego fight and the George Sullivan fight in LA. Every other one's been in Jersey.
Is it nice to sort of be back home and get ready for a fight?
Oh yeah.
Back to your roots?
Yeah, man, it's the best. You know, I've been all over the world, and I don't love anywhere the way I love Jersey. I don't love anywhere the way I love Jersey. I got my family here, my friends that are family. You know, Jersey's my home, and I love it. I'm excited to represent and perform in front of these animals.
Do you prefer fighting at home or having to go away? Some fighters like it.
It was cool not having to take a plane ride. I was able to drive down 78 and get here, you know. So right now I'm feeling good about being at home. You know, after this one, I think I'd like to do either October in Boston or Madison Square Garden in November. So I like the East Coast.
And your career is an interesting case because you were brought in to fight CM Punk. Obviously, you were good enough to stick around in the UFC, but nonetheless, something that you've had to do as you go along is pick up experience.
Absolutely.
You know? How has that been like? Because it is a very different road than most fighters. Most fighters, you know, accumulate a good amount of fights, then get in the UFC. You've kind of had to learn as you go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been interesting. It's been a lot of learning, but I've loved it. I'm happy and willing to, you know, have my whole career be in the spotlight. Go from, you know, I was in here after my first fight. I'd only had my first amateur fight a year before that, and you know, if anyone can handle this, is me. I love it. I'm happy to show my growing pains in front of the world, and I know just myself as a man, as my character, will just continue to grow through this. And not only as a fighter, but as a man, I'm gonna keep growing. And you know, I'm happy with it. I wouldn't change a thing.
So you wouldn't want the usual road to the UFC?
Nah. I'm happy with the way it went. Obviously, you know, more cage experience would be helpful, but you know, I'm learning as I go, and I'm just keep rocking out.
And how helpful is it training with Jim Miller? Because he's got the most fights in the UFC.
Yeah, man, he's an OG. Yeah. It's great. Jim's been giving me advice since before I had my first amateur fight. I've always looked up to him and his brother Dan. Love them like brothers. Look up to them like brothers. They've been really helpful. Yeah, every time I'm always getting knowledge bombs from those guys.
Jim's been able to keep a high level through his age, through all the fights that he's been through. What do you, at an early stage of your career, take from that? Do you think at all about, you know, career longevity, or are you just going in balls to the wall all the time?
Both. I'm going balls to the wall. Absolutely. You know, you gotta live for today. Tomorrow's not promised. But you know, I see a long career. So kind of both. You know, I'm going balls to the wall, and I'm thinking about the future.
What's made Jim have this longevity?
Just Jim Miller. Just Jim fucking Miller. You know, he's Jim fucking Miller. He's a G. He's tough as nails. You know, hard nosed, just a tough guy. I really couldn't say exactly what it is. He's Jim fucking Miller. He's a legend.
Hey Mick, obviously with the amount of competition in the division at the minute, where do you see yourself and where do you want to be within the next 6 to 12 months?
Where I see myself, I know I could beat any 170 on any given day. What I'm doing is I'm learning through my cage experience. So I'm trying to get the cage experience so I can make sure I could be that guy every time I get in there. You gotta have your best 15 minutes when it's that time. I gotta have it at Saturday at 2:30. I gotta have my best 15 minutes. Doesn't matter how great I was in the gym last week, 2 weeks ago, I need to have my best performance right there. So I'm learning how to make sure I can exact my best me on that time and on that day. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know any given day I can beat anyone, and time will tell. You will see.
So your mindset's just focused on now, and
yeah, I'm gonna beat Salim Touari. I'm gonna finish him. Whether it's the first round, second round, third round. I like to go in there and murk people and take them out in a minute or two. But I'm prepared for 3. All right, thank you guys.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
Alrighty, going left to right. We'll start off with the man with the light in my eyes. Cool. I saw you today already, didn't I? All right, you get round 2.
You'd mentioned up there that it's an earlier fight. For you, how did that factor into like your training at all? Do you have to train to peak earlier in the day than you would later at like nighttime when you usually fight?
We train all day long. Coach Joey, Danny, Coach Holdsworth, Faber, all those guys at Team Alpha Male get us ready to fight any time of the day, because that's what the fight game is all about. You got to be ready at the drop of a hat to perform. Especially going to the Lions Den. We're coming into Jim Miller's home state, so we're expecting, it won't be the first time, it won't probably be the first time we get some boos in the crowd, you know what I mean? But I bet by the end of this fight, everyone's standing and cheering for more, for both of us, because Jim's one of the hometown guys. He's one of those heroes out there, too, in the sport of mixed martial arts. So I'm looking forward to a great fight, whatever time it is.
What about, the recovery from the weight cut, too? Like, usually you get till nighttime, and now it's just the same thing, but a few hours early. It doesn't matter as well. You know what? Since I'm the smallest lightweight in the division, I don't even cut weight. I was 4 pounds over today, so I'm ready to go. I could go jump on the scale tonight if we had to, so we're ready. Do you rule at 145 for good at this point? I'm a 155er, man. I'm a lightweight for life. Maybe 170. Some of those lazy, chubby guys at welterweight might get a beating someday.
How important was it for you to have a moment like that with the fans, getting them up on stage?
That's what it's all about. I was telling my coach, I don't care if there's one kid out there, if there's one adult out there, the fact that they probably sat in traffic and drove out here, on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, come out and support us. That's what it's all about. It's about putting yourself out there for the fans, because they're the ones that pay our bills. They're the ones that are screaming. They're the ones in the crowd that are, they're spending their hard-earned money on the pay-per-views, on all these fights, and that's why I fight. I fight for the fans.
You and Jim are 2 of the most experienced guys in the UFC. Is it kind of weird that you guys have never fought? It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, the old saying I've said before in interviews, better late than never. You know what? And Miller and I were on a collision course for the last decade, you know what I mean? I started my UFC career in 2006 at UFC 64. I believe he was at UFC 68. And he's the only one who's got more fights than me, which just shows you how busy he has been, you know what I mean? And fighting the who's who. He hasn't been fighting C-level fighters. The guy's been fighting the top dogs in the division for over a decade. There's a lot to be said for that. So the fans are going to get what they deserve. Long time coming.
Between you 2 guys, not only are you guys super experienced, but you 2 are some of the most exciting fighters in that weight class. What are you expecting out of Saturday? Do you expect a war with Jim?
Absolutely, man. He's been in so many fight of the nights, so many submission of the night, so many bonuses, you know what I mean? Combined with myself, I think they were saying that we have like 60 combined fights or something like that. That's unbelievable, But I feel like I just made my UFC debut walkout, a couple of years ago. So we're still growing in the sport. We're improving every day, every camp at Team Alpha Male. My coaching staff has got me dialed in, and fighters say it all the time, but I truly mean it. This is the best I've ever felt at 155 at the ripe old age of 37. I still got a few years left in me.
But both of you guys are outdoors, man. You fish a lot. He hunts. Any chance after the fight you guys do something together?
I hope so, man. I'm looking forward to it. Jim's always been one of the good guys in the sport, and the outdoors brings people together. So definitely would love to get on the boat with him, and maybe he can show me how to hold a rifle someday. Shoot some stuff. So I'm down for that too.
And if you get a win here, you'd be 4-1 in your last 5. Pretty solid record since moving up to lightweight. Is the title still in your mind? Is that something you're building towards?
Yeah, people, counted us out a long time ago, man. But you know what? A lot of people never thought we'd make it this far in the UFC. A lot of people never even thought I was going to be in the UFC. So we're still here. We're still plugging away for that gold.
Clay, what do you think the key has been to that longevity? How have you been able to stay in the UFC?
You know what? The key to my longevity is just, being durable, being tough. Wrestler tough. We're built different than any mixed martial art. We're built differently than any martial artist. They're disciplined out there. You know what I mean? Wrestlers are. We really are. We're oil. I'm sorry. We're just tough, man. It's that simple. I recover better than I used to. My training staff, they've got me on point. You know what I mean? We have calculated workouts. I'm not just going out there and sparring all day long. You're going out there and strength conditioning all day long. We have calculated workouts, so we're dialed in for every camp. And I'm better now. I'm in better shape than I was 21. I'm in better shape than I was 25. And they say the male peaks in the mid-30s. I'm pushing 40, and I feel better than ever.
Hey Clay, what do you think Jim's biggest threat is to you, and how are you going to overcome that?
Oh, Jim's tenacity is a threat to everybody. But people know how I fight, and we mirror each other a lot. But he's never been in there with an animal like me. He's never been in there with a Tasmanian devil.
What can you say about the evolution of the UFC over the past decade or so? Have you seen other fighting styles?
Yeah, I tell you what, man. I look like a caveman out there more and more every time I see these young up-and-comers or these guys in their mid to late 20s are just doing things that I never thought I would see in a cage. Kickboxing and striking has really come to the forefront of mixed martial arts. I hate to say it, but the mixed martial arts is more of a stand-up game now. And I feel like the grappling game, jiu-jitsu, wrestling is a lost art, and I'm here to bring it back. You know what? One of my goals in the UFC is to have the most takedowns. I think we're like 3 or 4 on the list right now, and not bad for a kid that was a junior college wrestler. So one of my goals is to have the most fights in the UFC and to have the most takedowns in the UFC. We're well on our way to both.
To follow up on that, both you and Jim are really shine on the ground. You guys are really primarily known as grapplers. Mm-hmm. Although your styles are different, do you think you'll have the advantage on the ground?
Yeah, you know what? No one gets in better scrambles. No one gets out of better scrambles than I do. I've been taken down. I've gotten up against everybody. I've taken almost everybody down in a fight except my teammate Chad Mendez. He's a different kind of athlete, but expect to see some time spent on the canvas and expect Jim to be on his back.
BJ Penn was recently announced as getting back in one more time. You were the last guy to angle with him. What are your thoughts?
BJ is just a pure island warrior. What an animal that guy is. I don't know. I can't begin to say enough good things about him. I tell you what, after that, I've been in losses where I haven't been as banged up as I was after that fight against BJ. He cut me here, here, and here, and that dude still hits hard. He was the king of the division. He was the king of the UFC for so long for a reason. He was one of the first 2 division champs. I believe him and Randy Couture might have been simultaneously when he was at 55 and 170. And there's a lot to be said for that. You know what I mean? BJ's one of those guys who's got no quit in him. And he's just so darn tough. And you can't keep a guy like that down. He's going to compete until his limbs fall off. And you know what? You can't fault a guy for that. So good for BJ.
All right,
cool.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. See you guys Saturday.
What's that? All right. Just worked out. Sweat's good, right?
Jim, you mentioned 3rd time fighting at the Prudential Center.
5th time.
5th time, sorry, I misheard you. Does it feel like this could be the last? I mean, UFC doesn't come to New Jersey nearly as often as they used to. You mentioned how you're on the later stage of your career. Do you feel like this could be the last time you fight on the show in New Jersey? Maybe not in this building, just curious.
Who knows? It might be, it might not be. I don't really know if I'm in a position right now to say that. Like I said, I'm playing it fight by fight at this moment. Who knows when they'll be back? It's been a little while since they've been back here at the Prudential Center, so it might happen, it might not. It doesn't really bother me either way. It's a cool venue, but.
Does this time feel any different than the first?
Not really. It feels like. When the heck was the last time I fought here? I fought here in 2015 against Dariush, and it's been a long time, So it's like it feels kind of new again here, but I don't really know if it's any different.
We spoke to Clay earlier about this, but you guys both have so many fights. It almost seems like it was inevitable you cross paths at some point.
Yeah, we could have fought in my debut. It's just the way that it goes. Sometimes guys don't get matched up. We were definitely very close to being matched up back in like 2010, 2011, early 2011. But yeah, it just never happened, and you know, we're both still around. So it'll be what, 61 between the two of us come Saturday. So I mean, who knows? We could both be around again and do it again sometime, maybe.
You said maybe do a little fishing, do a little hunting after a couple of good guys this morning.
There you go. You know, that'd be awesome. You know, Clay's a pretty good fisherman. I'd like to get out there on the water with him.
You like gritty 15-minute wars. You really enjoy that.
I don't like that.
You don't? I mean, you've talked about, you know, pushing yourself in.
Yeah.
Well, at least in the cage, it looks like you're having fun.
Well, yeah, you know, it's. I don't train to be in it, right? You know, like I train to blow my opponents out. I train to fight in massacres, not in wars. You know, so it's just kind of who I am. That you know, if it's not going my way, or if the guy's surviving, I'm just gonna keep going, because you know I got 19 wins in the UFC. You've never seen me excited about winning a decision. You know, the only time I get fired up and get amped up is if I put somebody away, and you know, that's what I'm fighting for. That's what I'm gunning for. So, you know, being in those gritty, tough battles is just kind of it's a byproduct, I guess, of the way that I fight and what my goal is when I step into the octagon. But I sure as hell don't want it, because it hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, what do you make of Clay Guida as an opponent? Because it seems, you know, he's got a lot of cardio, high output, right? Works really hard.
Yeah.
He's a grinder. It seems that fight kind of it's kind of trading.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely that matchup that it's got the makings. You know, neither one of us are going to back down. Neither one of us are going to stop. You know, we've both been in those tough scraps, those bloody fights. You know, had the chips stacked against us, and where, you know, some other fighters might find their way out, we haven't, and you know, it could be that fight. I haven't been busting my ass so that it will be. You know, like, I'm prepared for it, but I'm trying to put away as fast as I can so I can line another one up, you know, before too late this year.
And kind of what we talked about earlier, are you sort of surprised that you guys didn't fight earlier? Because it seems that it's a fight that fans would appreciate, and sorry, and not only that, but you know, you guys are veterans and have been fighting forever.
You know, I wouldn't say really surprised. You know, it's just one of those things that sometimes the matchups get made, sometimes they don't. And, you know, he was at 45s for a bit there, and if he hadn't gone to 45s, I'm sure that we probably would have matched up a little bit sooner. You know, we both stayed in the game long enough, so it was bound to happen, and you know, it's one that I'm excited for. You know, he brings a unique fight to the octagon, and he's got some wins against some great opponents, fighting his style. So it's a tough test for me, but I feel like I'm prepared, and I'm ready to go.
And you mentioned that at this point you're just taking fight by fight, like you don't know if you're going to stop fighting. Why is that? Is there a specific reason?
You know, I was in 2016. You know, early 2016. I was prepared to make UFC 200 my final fight. You know, I mean, that was in the weeks leading up to my fight with Diego at 196. I was going to fight that fight, and win or lose, tell Joe Silva, you know, I wanted to be on 200 as my final one. And then I found out I had Lyme disease, and so I gave it a little time. I was like, all right, let's see what the medication can do, and what I can, like, how much of this is going to go away. And it was a big step forward. I wasn't out of the water for a bit there. You know, 2017 was difficult as well. You know, it kind of came back and kicked my ass for a bit there. But yeah, so now that I'm able to push like I used to. I'm able to train like I used to. For a long time there, I couldn't lift. I couldn't sprint because my nervous system was so zapped that I would just be laid up for a couple days. So I got away with doing my technique training. I'd roll a little bit, I'd spar a little bit, and I started running. And that's kind of what got me through it. You know, I mean, up until 2015, I didn't run. I wasn't a runner because I sprinted. I did sprints on the treadmill. I did sprints, you know, in circuits and stuff like that, and never got outworked doing that. You know, healthy, never got outworked doing that. So you know, I kind of was forced out of my element. I was forced to train in a way that wasn't allowing me to fight to my strengths. And you know, the last like 18 months or so, 12, 18 months, it's been a lot better, you know. But at the same time, I don't know what's going to happen, you know. And this is 33, so you know, like, well, like I said, I'm playing it by ear. I want to know. I'm not the type that's going to, you know, have a bad night and call it quits. That's not me. I'm not going to make an emotional decision, you know, after a fight. I want to know leading up to a fight that it's going to be my last one, because I'm not the type that's going to come back. So that kind of excites me. That excites me, knowing that, you know, that last one, it's going to be playtime, because there's nothing left to hold back for. You know, there's no more, like, you know, trying to get wins together or anything like that. Trying to get in the rankings, all this stuff. Let's just go out and have fun. So when that day comes, I might tell you guys leading up to it. I might not. I probably will tell you. You know, but yeah, you know, it's not Saturday.
Then what do you think the key to having this long career is, having this longevity in your career is? Why other guys can't do that?
Stubborn bullheadedness, you know, and luck. I can think back to a couple fights, the Diego one in particular, and a couple other ones. Actually, when I fought Kamal Chalarus here, was another fight that, you know, I had a good night that night. I fought well, but the camp was just, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. So there have been a couple times where I got away with it, you know. But the way that I've always looked at it is, like, I'm not going to advance my career by pulling out of a fight. I'm not gonna get paid by pulling out of a fight either. So I cherish the opportunities. I really do, and I've been lucky. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I've been lucky that nothing like super devastating has happened. I've had, you know, there's plenty of things going on in my body that I'd rather not be, you know, injury-wise, from making a career out of this. But yeah, it's kind of been luck, you know. Like, I've been cut plenty of times 2 weeks before fights, you know. A little crazy glue and everybody biting their tongue has kind of helped me out, and being lucky enough not to get busted open in the fight as well. But yes, it's I don't know. Like I said, I've been lucky. And, you know, I've also trained through some stuff and fought through some stuff that I probably shouldn't have, and sometimes I've gotten away with it, and sometimes I haven't.
Is there anything about your game specifically? Clay mentioned that just being a wrestler and a wrestling body sense, what's anything about how you fight specifically?
I don't know. You know, it maybe just the pressure aspect of it. You know, like, I mean, I enjoy, like, I enjoy fighting because I enjoy what it brings out of me, to me. You know, like, I like the push. I like feeling fatigue. I enjoy that in training. You know, and I make sure that, like, if it's my last round, I'm going as hard as I can for that last round. And it's the same thing, you know, in a fight. I'm pushing, and I'm there to try to expose a little bit of more of me, you know, kind of chip away at the things that everybody has that we kind of hold back sometimes. I think that pressure has fatigued some of my opponents enough that they haven't been able to do as much damage as they probably could have. Back to your question, you know, like, that's what kind of has saved me, I think. But you know, the fighting, it beats you up, but the training's the one that gets most guys. So you know, just being lucky in the room, having good training partners around me has surely been one of the biggest things that's helped me. You know, it's not about winning; it's about getting better, and that's something that pretty much everybody through the years that I've trained with has had, you know, in common. Thanks, guys. Thank you.